welcome, welcome. Thank you as always, but welcome. Most importantly, welcome. I trust that you are well. I certainly am. And when I trust that you are well, I really trust that you are well, that you're keeping well, that you're enjoying all the things that are happening here in the new year and things are going your way. Prayers to everybody, each and every one of us. I'm sure we know of somebody or a family that is in need of our prayers and positive energy. So we send it out to each and every one of you. I'm here in my garden. I thank you for joining me. And I know I don't always do intros. I just sort of get dug into the work and get the work started. But I do want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. So many of you have been leaving me such wonderful comments. For those of you who've been a bit under the weather recently, I really hope you're a lot better as you watch this video. Keep well, all of you. And I just wish everybody the best. Here in the UK, we've got the winter season, so it is really cold. It's very chilly. I'm very well wrapped up, but I've been working on a project back here, and so that's the reason why in many ways I'm not always able to do intros and outros as they call it on here. I'm just trying to get the work done so that come spring here in the UK, where the weather starts to get a lot milder, I'll have this project up and running. In the meantime, thank you so much. I have been sort of busy getting along. I have been busy getting on with this project, and I really still have a lot to do. I'm hoping to sort of make a little dent on the work here again today, so that, as I say, come springtime, this place will be ready with my new planters, which will be metal planters, and I can start at least direct sowing if I haven't managed to do some sowing of seed before that. So I'm going to just dive straight into the project. I'm going to try and get this bed down. The soil in here, however, has to be put into a separate container, only because the soil in here is ericaceous soil, because I've got some blueberries in there. So thank you so much, and thank you for joining me. So here are some used bags. I sort of keep them around the garden in places which I'm going to use to recycle. So some bags I've used to purchase compost in the past, or just some work bags. I'm going to use those in which to put the ericaceous soil. I'm going to dig out the blueberries that are in there currently. I have put some of these chicken wire cuttings on top because the squirrels and unwanted pests were digging in there. So that's all that is, just to prevent unwanted animals from getting in there. Above this area, I have got a Leylandii hedge. It's quite well trimmed back, but when the dry bits or the debris from here falls, a lot of it obviously goes into the beds that we've had along here. But this is lovely. It just does break down. I've not had a problem in terms of how it composts, and it hasn't had an effect on the blueberries. In fact, I love the soil here. You know, it's just so, it is moist. Mind you, we are in winter, and but it's lovely soil. It breaks down beautifully, and it doesn't seem to bother the blueberries here. Got some volunteer herbs, grasses in here. They will go into the compost. Oops. Another bit of mesh just to prevent squirrels from digging in there. You need an extra pair of hands to hold this bag up, right? I've picked up one of my large plastic containers, and I'm going to use that to rehouse the blueberry for now, using some of the soil that's already in there. The good thing about gardening, the great thing about gardening is there are so many things around the garden that you can reuse and reuse and reuse, and that's certainly what I do try to do in my garden. They can be a mess when they're just hanging around in the garden empty, but times like this, they're just invaluable, really. And that's what I'm going to use just to rehouse the blueberries for now. Oh, excuse the sniffles. I should have put the bucket in the wheelbarrow, right? Okay, let's see me lift it in now. Oh, it's not too heavy. Besides, I'm very, very strong. Let's see what we have here. I've just dug out the blueberry. It's almost like a root ball almost, although some of the roots are exposed. I will leave it in this container until its new bed is prepared. Let's get rid of any competing roots. And I'll backfill this with some more ericaceous soil. I'll probably give it a little bit of watering, not too much. And at some point, it won't be today, at some point, I will prune back. Let's have a look. At some point, I'll prune back any of the dead, damaged, and diseased branches. You can see that these are just snapping off with no effort whatsoever, and they are dry to the core. So as with most plants, really, you can do that pruning back. As with most plants, you can do that pruning back really any time through the season. Certainly if it's something like fruits or flowers, you would want to do it after the fruiting or the flowering. The winter time is often a good time because many plants are in the dormant phase. And I do sort of relate to things in the garden and in nature with things that happen in life as well. So when pruning back and tidying up a plant, it sometimes might seem quite intense to remove the things such as the dead, damaged and diseased. But actually in life, I definitely see parallels between gardening and real life. And so in real life, we do go through different journeys. And sometimes we do. Okay, so yes, in life, we do go through processes in life, don't we? Where we make new friends, and then sometimes our friend circles change. And that's part of life cycle. I definitely see so many parallels in gardening when it comes to gardening and also real life situations. And so even when I talk about pruning back and removing dead, damaged and diseased branches, that's not a negative thing, not by any means, not by any means. It's actually a way of us making room for the new and giving the opportunity for new to grow and flourish. And so while sometimes it can be challenging or maybe painful in some circumstances, I think we have to trust the process and acknowledge that for centuries and centuries, this has been happening anyway in nature. So I'm not trying to be flippant, and I'm certainly not trying to be disrespectful in terms of, maybe having new friendship circles and things like that. But sometimes, especially being a new year, sometimes we need to give it room, space to grow. So I say that with all positive energy, to allow the seasons as they change, and sometimes new beginnings and new things, to just allow that space for new things, new seasons. With these cameras, I'm never sure where to look. Do I look here or do I look there? I'm sure I've asked before. And so my eyes are flickering left and right. But really, the purpose of pruning back is to allow for new growth, strength. And can you hear the winds blowing? They certainly agree with me. Let me get on with my job. Okay, that will do. So that's one. I have two more in there to do. Okay, so I've been digging and digging and digging, and I've got to the base of the blueberry, but the root ball area here is really rather large. It is larger than any of my plastic containers or plastic bags, and so I have a plan B. And really, to carry on with what I was just saying earlier on, wherever there's a problem, there is a solution, and that's the same with with the pruning back. Wherever there appears to be a problem, there's a solution, and the solution is to remove the old that no longer serves you. And the solution is to remove the old that no longer serves you, to give you space to come up with a solution. And so that's what I'm going to do, come up with a solution. And my solution is, because it's only a temporary thing, again, I'm going to use one of these plastic bags. This is a large one. And the root ball appears to be even larger than this. I'm just going to slice it down one of the sides using a rusty old blade. Let's see if we can even slice through some old plastic. Let me see. Put my glove on. So using this rusty old blade, let's see if I can't slice down one of the sides. I'm going to lay it somewhat over the wheelbarrow. Lay it somewhat over the wheelbarrow, and I'm going to lift that big clump and pop it into the bag. I'll put a little bit at the bottom, the corner of the bag first. That's the magic of gardening. It really is a problem-solving exercise. You can see the size of this thing. It's quite large. Problem-solving. Here we go. That's a heavy one. Closer. There we go. That's a mature blueberry. Did you capture that, camera? Because that was a little bit of hard work there. I'm not complaining. There we go, see? the soil. And then we're good to go. There we go. See, look at that. Great idea, right? An old compost bag, repurposed. Right, now to find another temporary home. Now. The things we do for the love of our gardens. So those are the 2 blueberries at the moment here, and I'm just going to put another one there, and they're just there temporarily, as you know, until such time that my raised beds are completed. Yeah, so I'll be the first to admit that back here just looks a total mess. Gardens often do at this time of year, and really it's just sort of like a transitional period where you're moving one thing into another place. So excuse this space, but it's a very functional space. It's a place where I often leave my cuttings, but I need to just put the ericaceous soil in the bags and leave them back there. That's what I'm doing now. Ericaceous soil. I'm very mindful that this is a long-term project. This is going to take me many, 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 many weeks, many months to complete. So thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate that. I genuinely, truly do. But once done, it'll be there for many more years. These containers we have used for many, 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 many years. And you can see the white sort of fungal looking bit there is actually mycelium. And that's what happens when wood, roots, trees start to break down. So that's not a bad sight at all. But what is not functional anymore is where the wood has rotted completely and the soil is sort of coming out at the sides. So I have made progress, but still much to do. And this is what I speak of when I talk of the mycelium. breaking down the wood. They're going to be removed off site. So I hope you're kind of getting a picture of what it is I'm doing. If you've only just joined me in this video, I previously had some wooden raised beds here where I've grown lots and lots of vegetables and fruits along here. I've also had some in what was a greenhouse back here. You can just see the brickwork, the framework here. However, as the years have passed, the wooden pallets have, broken down as I expected them to. But this is the time for me to now change the layout and to replace the wooden raised beds. And so that's what I'm doing here. This whole area back here is going to look really quite different. I've been taking up the pebbles from the floor, and kudos to those of you who texted me, or rather who messaged me, to say that watching me collect the gravels or the pebbles and sifting it through my homemade sieve, for want of a better word, or griddle, for want of a better word, has inspired you to do the same. So thank you for that. So this area, I'm exposing it, I'm showing it to you as it looks now, and it really is a complete and utter mess. It's definitely discombobulated. It's definitely the storm. So it's not even the calm before the storm. This is the storm, but I'm really looking forward to bringing you the after. This is in the transition period. This is the transition period, so it's really looking quite messy, to be expected, and I look forward to you joining me on this journey as I show you how it develops.